And yo, welcome back to the channel, and today's a big one. I got my boy here, Mr. Win, please. Yeah,
have to be humble today.
CBK.
Have to be humble today.
So obviously, for those that don't know, okay, so I'm gonna give you some context. Obviously, CBK is our channel manager on SDS, and recently we had an episode. Some might regard it as probably the worst episode in SDS history.
Who's some? I didn't regard it. I don't regard it.
Some people do. That's what the streets are saying. That's what the streets are saying. They're saying that's the worst performance in SDS history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
all right.
Obviously, I thought, you know what? Since you're banned.
Yeah.
Since you're banned from the podcast, he's actually banned.
Yeah. I banned myself.
I banned
myself.
He's not allowed to be in front of the camera anymore.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what? That's not fair. Come on, man, that's not fair. So I thought, you know what? Let me bring him onto my channel.
I appreciate it.
You know, that's my today's.
It's an honor. Yeah, I'm the first guest on your channel.
Literally the first guest.
I like that, man.
And you know me, I like criminals.
Yeah. Do you know why? I hear it.
We're criminals.
We're criminals.
I had to bring a criminal on. And explain himself in the court of justice.
Yeah. This is the court of justice.
Yeah, this is the court of justice. Because today, you might have to pay for some crimes. You might have to pay for some crimes because there's a big result today in regards to the title race. It could be a big moment in the season for the title race. Obviously, we are doing a reaction video to the Arsenal-Liverpool game, or Liverpool-Arsenal, should I say, since it was at Anfield. And the result ended as 1-0. Okay, obviously a piece of magic from Soboslai. For me, it's
Bozo.
That's crazy.
Fair play to him. It was a great goal.
It was a moment of brilliance. But obviously, there's still a lot to unpack in the game. What was your initial thoughts, obviously, seeing the lineup?
The thing is, I tweeted this earlier in the week, and a lot of people were surprised. They're like, "Oh, you have to start Eze in this kind of game. You just throw him in the deep end. We don't have a 10." And I was saying to people, "No, I know Arteta. I know him. I know how this guy works.
Yeah.
He's gonna start Marino, Rice, and Zubimendi, and I knew that was gonna be the midfield three, and I knew he was gonna start Martinelli left wing because he loves him at Anfield. So when I saw that, automatically, I just know this is another game where we're gonna go defensive and we're gonna hope to get another draw at Anfield. We had this conversation off camera. It's one of those ones where I look at these kind of games, right, and Liverpool have looked a little bit shaky, not in terms of like attacking wise. They've been goals galore, but defensively they're there to be got at, and we just didn't break them down. There was no like real patterns to play. Do you know what it felt? It felt samey from Arsenal today, and it's just like it was one of those games where we had it, and I trolled you on the first one where it was like your performance was better than ours, but we got the result. This one, I think our performance was okay in the first half, but the second half it was a bit even. And I think both teams were cagey, and ultimately what it came down to was the result matters at the end of the day, and we lost 1-0, so it doesn't matter. The result matters. The result matters.
Sticking to it.
The result matters. The result matters.
We don't care about the performance.
We don't care about the performance. Win, please.
Win, please.
I hear it, please.
Now,
I can't draw.
Yeah, listen, you know what? I'll give you my honest opinion in it, because obviously, looking at the lineup, I was a bit disappointed, man. I'll be honest with you, brother. I was a bit disappointed because I just felt like Liverpool being the champions, for me, if you want to be champions, given the context, the fact that you finished second in the last 3 seasons, you're playing away at Anfield against the champions. This was an opportunity, I thought, for Arsenal to actually show some intent.
Yes.
You know, and if you want to be that champions, because if you look at all the champions over the last 6-7 years, the City teams and the Liverpool teams, they're teams that no matter the occasion, no matter what stadium they're playing at, they go at teams. They have a go, and I felt like with the depth that you have now, you got Eze in, you got Madueke in. So even with Odegaard and Saka missing, I just felt like you had enough firepower to, you know what, really take the game to Liverpool. Especially given the fact that you've seen Liverpool against the Bournemouth game, you saw them against the Newcastle game. They're a bit vulnerable. Yeah. They're a bit vulnerable, especially on the transition. They are looking a bit vulnerable. They do leak goals.
They required 2 last-minute goals in a sense, at Newcastle and in the last 5 minutes against Bournemouth.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it was kind of like, I just felt like Arsenal, now I look at it as a missed opportunity for them, because I genuinely felt like they really wanted to. They have enough talent, they have enough players on the pitch that could really hurt this Liverpool team. And of course, look at the game, I just felt like both teams cancelled each other out. I felt like it was a bit of a cagey game. It was a bit of a boring game.
I'll be real, the neutrals, I apologise to the neutrals, especially someone like Liban.
You know how many times I had to do this?
Yeah, you had to do that. Well, I had to do that. You know you did this. And you woke up, you're like, so what's that scored?
I hear the commentator say something, look up.
I hear
it's a sideways pass. I'm like, my bad, bro.
Oh, so many sideways.
It's a sideways pass. Someone.
Yeah.
I just felt like he lived up to the expectations. I just felt like
that was not a Super Sunday.
It wasn't a Super Sunday game. No, not at all. And it obviously took a moment of brilliance from Soboslai to make the difference, you know. You know, at the end of the day, Liverpool are the champions. They're going to be happy with that. You know, it's
9 points.
9 points.
First 3 games: Bournemouth at home, Newcastle away, and Arsenal at home, and they got 9 points.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you be happy as a Liverpool fan?
Exactly. So obviously early on in the game, Saliba went down. Obviously for Arsenal fans, it's another injury.
Yeah.
Again, you know, but I thought that this year, I think the difference is that you do have the depth, because I think Mascara came in and he looked good. I have to give him his praise. I think he looked good.
I've noticed
being your first game.
Yeah,
he looked really good.
Thrust into the Anfield, and I think he did really well. But you've noticed that there's a lot of injuries this season. I think Liam Delap went down for Chelsea. I think Cunha went down for United.
Cunha went down, obviously, because he played in the FIFA Club World Cup.
Cunha went down.
So that's why.
Cunha went down, alhamdulillah. But listen, I think there's been a lot of injuries in the Premier League, and I think it's been crazy to me. So, but Cunha, alhamdulillah. But like, as I was saying, with the injuries and stuff like that, that for me is not an excuse.
I can't say it.
No. This part might make it in, might not make it in, innit?
Yeah, I hope they cook you as well. I hope they cook you the way they cooked me.
Yeah.
I hope they cook you the way
Baby
they
girl. That's how I'm gonna say.
Fair play, man. Fair play.
No, but this is one of those games where I don't look. I get what you say with injuries, right? With the Saka, Odegaard, Saliba. This for me, this season, I don't look at injuries anymore. You got depth now. Berta has changed your life, Arteta.
Yeah.
You can't now say Saka's gone down. Okay, we don't have a replacement for him. Odegaard's gone down. Okay, you don't have a replacement for him. Saliba's gone down. Okay, you don't have a replacement. No, I don't want to hear any of that this season. And I said this on when me and Liaz were having like a little bit of back and forth. I said this is Arteta's last season for him because I don't have any more leeway to give him. I can't give him any more excuses. Like, this is it for me. So a game like this today, and it was, like you said again, is one of those games where it felt cagey and it didn't need to be cagey. That was what annoyed me, because he's like, you're going to Anfield again and you're not trying to break that curse. You're not trying to, like you said, there's no intent. There's no like, let's go for this game. Let's actually try and like capitalize on this poor Liverpool defense so far. Like, I know a lot of people might say, Liverpool fans will be like, we haven't been that poor. But guys, you've conceded, 5 goals in 2 games before this game. So let's be fair, you have been poor in terms of defense. Attacking wise though, we know your brilliance. So this is just one of those games once again. And I looked at it and I was just like, I don't want to look at injuries. I don't want to look at Saliba going down in the 4th minute. I don't care about that. We didn't perform. Yeah. And we performed a little bit. Then Liverpool got in the game, and then like you said, it became cagey, and then that's it. Yeah. So
now you know what it is as well, and I agree with a lot of what you just said there. For me, obviously, trolling aside, obviously for me it's a lose-lose situation, regardless of whether or not Liverpool win the league or Arsenal win the league. Right? Yeah. As a Man United fan, I don't want Liverpool to win the league, but obviously because of the Arsenal boys on the podcast, I don't want Arsenal to win the league, because I feel like you guys are too insufferable. Yeah. You know, you got people saying that, you know, they think Arsenal are favourites. Sharky. I think with Arsenal, I think they've really, and Arteta specifically, I think they've really moved away from the football that they were playing a couple of years ago. Yeah. I just think Arteta's moved in a direction where it's all become about risk management for him. It's about not trying to concede goals rather than actually going for it. Yes, against the smaller teams, and maybe when
the
you're
fearlessness,
it's
gone away.
It's gone away. And I think yes, against the smaller teams, or maybe when you're playing against teams at home, you have a bit more confidence. You do go at teams, but I just think to be a champion, you got to play real offensive, fearless football at all times.
You can't go to Anfield and Etihad with mental fragility. You can't be like, I'm scared to lose this game.
Yeah,
you can't, to be a champion, you can't do that.
And I think also, they've moved into that direction too much. You know, I think the criticism there for me is on Arteta, because yes, you know, it's all nice getting all this depth and all these players in, because like I said, and I've said this on the podcast as well, I think this is the best Arsenal squad I've seen since you've moved into the Emirates.
Facts.
This is the best squad. Yeah. On paper, it's an excellent squad. I think you've got depth everywhere on the pitch. Yes, maybe there's question marks are maybe on the left-hand side, but I think you've got enough attacking power now, especially with Gyökeres up front, who I don't think at the moment is showing his best qualities yet, even though he did play get the goals against Leeds. I think
he'll definitely this season, but you'll definitely
he will get you goals. He will get you goals, and then you got Madueke to give you more depth.
Which, by the way, quick one, I really like Madueke today.
I think he had a really good game. I think it was really impressive. There is definitely, you can see, not that he's getting warm, but he's playing with that little bit of fearlessness that I think you've kind of lacked. Yeah. Obviously with Saka being your biggest threat, and other than him, I feel like you kind of lacked that little bit. So maybe it'll be nice to see how he performs maybe on the left hand side when Saka's back. But like I said, that's the disappointment part. I do think you have a really great squad. I just do think it's a year late, because I do think you've missed that opportunity. Everybody else have also strengthened. You look at Chelsea now, currently top of the table.
I think Liverpool 9 points now. They're both top.
I think Liverpool are top of the table. Obviously, Chelsea were on 7. They were top of the table before today as well. And then you got Man City as well. But obviously, Man City, touching on that quickly, back-to-back losses.
Hey, and you see that at the end as well with Hezler.
Yeah,
he didn't even shake Hezler's hand.
It's crazy.
That's looking shaky-wakey, you know.
So they started to show cracks now.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I get what your point is. Like, maybe we're a year too late. I'll disagree with that. I don't think we're a year too late because I'm looking at the competition around us, and there's cracks with every team, including our team as well, just Arsenal. But I'm looking at every single title challenging team, and I'm like, there's flaws. Like Man City, back-to-back losses. But then again, there's a Man City team where
I remember more points than Guardiola.
But one of them's in the crisis, one of them's not. Amorim. Guardiola out.
Uncomfortable conversations,
man.
Yeah. I agree with it to some aspects because I do think Liverpool, obviously the transfer window's not closed as we're recording.
Yeah.
If they were to get Isak and Guehi tomorrow,
then you know what? Masalama. You're right. Year too late. Done. It's over.
There you go.
Too late.
So I think it will be interesting to see how the season goes. I do think it's the most open it has been, but I'm still gonna stick to my guns. I still think that Liverpool are the favourites just because they have that pedigree, obviously that experience.
They have the know-how.
And also I don't think they've had the best start to the season. But when you don't have the best start to the season and you've walked away with 9 points, that's a problem. Because then what happens when you do get that control and once that midfield starts to get a bit more control, defense tightens up a little bit more. Then what happens?
Exactly. And when everyone gels and everyone meshes and then all of a sudden...
because obviously there's question marks obviously on Vert. I don't think he's had the greatest start to the season. But again, the expectation...
I feel like you're holding back. What do you think of Vert, really?
No, I like Vert. I'm a big fan of Vert.
I'm actually a big fan of Vert,
I predicted this to happen, though. Like, I said this when we did that transfer video on SDS.
It was the Premier League predictions, but you're right. Because with Fuad, he kept saying top assist for Vert. And I was like... Yo, give him time. Like, this is a guy that's gonna need time in this league.
And I don't think, like I said, even though he is meant to be that creative outlet, his numbers hasn't always been the greatest. You know, if you look at his Bundesliga, the most goals he scored in the Bundesliga season was 11 goals. So he's never been the type of guy to get like 20 goals, 20 assists.
It's always been about his influence on the game.
Yes,
that's what it is.
And you know, and that will take time. Obviously, he's new to the league. He's still young, and obviously with the money that they spent on him, I can understand why people expect him to hit the ground running straight away.
That's what
you look at
Ekiteke.
Yeah. So you look at Ekiteke, and obviously he's kind of sort of hit the ground running. You know, and I think that's the kind of impact that I think Liverpool fans were expecting from Wirtz. But that's not necessarily to say that he won't end up being a good signing or he won't have, he won't grow into the season and maybe start, being the player that we know he can be. You look at Szoboszlai, for example, he had a slow start to his Liverpool career. Gravenberch had a slow start to his Liverpool career. You look at other teams, Enzo Fernandez. If you look at him, his numbers are coming up.
Caicedo originally, everyone looked at and said, "Yo, this guy's thing."
I think people just need to be a bit more patient. Obviously, I understand how the football community is online. I understand Twitter. I get it. You got to get your licks in when you can. I got my licks in today on Eze, even though it wasn't fair. Sometimes you just got to get your licks in.
But sometimes you got to let it all work out.
Yeah. Is that? Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Nah, fair play. I like that. That was good. That was good.
Clip that one up.
Yeah, that was good. So obviously, Haseeb, you had Arsenal to finish first in your predictions. Well, you still have them. First, right?
I still have finished first.
Has any of the results so far? Obviously, it's only been 3 game weeks, but have you seen anything that's kind of altered your predictions?
No, not at all. In terms of, I get what you mean in terms of looking at certain games and everything like that. But I'm looking at this season, and I'm looking at. We've just signed we're getting Hincapie, which is also adding to our depth. This is, like I said, like we said, when you're challenging for the title and when you want to win that title, you need that depth. For me, I believe in Arteta to manage this depth and take us all the way. So my prediction doesn't change. There are worrying signs here, but I have noticed in the past when it comes to champions, even though we haven't been champions in a while, so I get the win please, but but I get that aspect. But with these champions, you've always noticed with them, they always start slow. They're always trying to figure out their system, and then by that was it November, December time, once they figure out their team, then it's like smooth sailing for them. So I think Arteta's still trying to figure out this team, but he needs to figure out fast because my predictions will start waning. And last season, I remember I said, when we drew against Everton at home, I said, we're not winning this league. Like, wrap up the league. The injuries is injuries, but we're not winning this league. And I was in November. So I'm giving them 1 or 2 months where I can really look at it and be like, look, it's been like, 8-9 games now. I can look at it properly. I have a fair sample size. I haven't seen anything different. So then that's when I can have a better answer for you in terms of changing my prediction. But at the moment, I still have Arsenal winning the league. Call it blind hope, call it blind faith. But at the end of the day, we're going to win the Premier League. Win, please.
Okay, win please. Yeah, okay, but you know how I feel. You know my stance, brother.
Yes.
You know it's inshallah also don't win the league.
Yeah.
And
Inshallah, anything else?
Inshallah, you get back on the pod.
Yeah,
Inshallah,
sure.
they lift your ban.
Yeah.
Bun that Sharky you.
Oh, you know what? I never liked him.
But yeah, bun that you, man.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
acting like you don't have the password to the SDS channel.
Bro,
You know you could just
he doesn't
delete
know.
it.
Do you know I can delete everything right
You
now?
know you could delete everything. You know-
Everything.
Everything.
I can delete this video right
How
now.
about that? You could change the password to the building.
Yeah, well,
And you can't get
and
in.
he's,
Yeah,
you know,
they
have
did.
you seen that meme?
Yeah, that meme where he tried to get into the building, you can't get in.
You're
Yeah,
not
so-
getting in, brother.
Yeah.
You're not getting in.
Bun that hopefully I'll have him soon here as well. Pay for his crimes as well. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's what we need. Liban and Sharky on this one, by the way.
You been set free.
Yeah.
All the charges have been dropped on you. Yeah.
I'm free.
You're good, brother.
I'm
You're
free.
free.
I'm
You're
free,
to go.
yeah?
You're free to go.
I'm
You're
free,
free.
yeah?
You're free.
I'm free,
You're
yeah?
man.
I can leave, yeah?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay.
Get your.
But first and
honestly,
foremost,
no, thank you
I
for
really
coming.
appreciate being the first ever guest on Liban's channel. Please subscribe, by the way. Please like the video. And remember, like with Liban as well, he's going to be mashing out content this season. And this is a guy
Inshallah.
who's one of the best football content creators in the scene. And he's just started his YouTube, so
No,
yeah,
inshallah.
we're gonna
Thank
see.
you.
We're gonna see a lot this season.
This is the unsung hero of the SDS podcast, by the way. The guy that runs everything, obviously, along with Shaim and Mercer.
They're gonna
as
hate
well.
this, you know, because we're shaking each other's
Yeah,
hands at the end.
they-
We need to start.
But don't worry, man.
There's mutual respect.
There's mutual respect, but there'll be.
Respect and
I
value,
know there's gonna be a time where we'll be beefing. So
Yeah,
don't worry.
yeah, it's fine.
So right now we can, you know.
You know what? We're calm now.
We're calm now.
But in 2 weeks,
The storm is coming.
when there's another injury for United and I say alhamdulillah again, then we're
Oh,
good.
crazy.
Then we're good. Baby girl.
You're saying Alhamdulillah for Cunha.
Alhamdulillah for good.
Do you remember what happened to Saliba today as well?
Eh?
Yeah, go. You need to go. Before you try to get me into trouble again. Yeah, get out of here. Anyway, Alhamdulillah. Manchester United get their first win of the season against Burnley. Obviously not in the most comfortable of manners, but 3 points is 3 points. I remember the boys were telling me on the SDS table, the Arsenal boys were telling me it's about the results, not the performance, baby. But look at us now. We got our first win of the season. Of course, there's a lot to still unpack. I'm not going to get too carried away and too excited. Of course, it was against Burnley, who are newly promoted. There's a lot to unpack. Obviously, we'll talk about their Man United performance. I felt like we dominated. To begin with, I do feel like we dominated the game, especially in that first half. I felt like we created a lot of chances. Again, comes down to one thing, and that's just not taking our chances. A lot of sloppy finishes. Ahmad, obviously, in particular, missed that chance a few yards away from goal. But I think like that's been like the theme for United for quite some time now, is that we get chances, we don't put it away, or we struggle to create clear-cut chances. And when those chances do arrive, we simply don't take it. And it almost cost us the 3 points. Obviously, it took a late penalty from Bruno Fernandes to clutch the 3 points for us, and it's given Amorim some relief, and has already probably bought him some more time, which for me, I'll be honest with you, I've been quite critical of Amorim over the past week or so. Obviously, the Fulham performance and then the Grimsby shock result midweek. But this game, I really have to say that this game was on the players. For me, I just felt like there's only so much a manager can do. When players are simply not putting the ball into the back of the net from a few yards out, it don't really matter what system you play. It could be 3-4-3, it could be 4-3-3, it could be 4-4-2. If you are not putting your chances away, ultimately you might end up losing the game. And that's what almost happened to us. We let Burnley back in the game twice, both from, again, goalkeeping errors. It's crazy because I spoke about this in the last video. Literally, Bayinda, Onana, Bayinda. It's like they're both competing to see who's worse. And there's that little clip, that little video that I saw online of them two hugging and laughing with each other after the game. Brother, if you do not sort yourselves out, it's only a matter of time before both of you will leave this club. It's honestly, it's becoming ridiculous now how bad these two goalkeepers are. And it's almost like they're trying to outdo each other. And again, Bayinda on that second goal, shaky. You know, the ball's coming and he's kind of spilled it right in front of him, and it's given Burnley an opportunity to get back into the game, make it 2-2. And then obviously the penalty, which for me was definitely a penalty with Ahmad. Yeah, got pulled down by Anthony. And again, you know, we caught life. What does this mean for Amorim? Honestly, I think, again, I haven't really changed my stance. I do think it's a game-by-game case for him at the moment. I do feel like it's a lot of pressure for him. However, I have heard also with the board, they are not trying to sack Amorim. So it does seem like Amorim will be in the job for a while, unless he decides to walk away, you know, because there are talks about him essentially wanted to leave or wanted to resign, which is not surprising, because if you look at how Man United managers look, before they arrive at Man United. And then once after they join Man United, they look like two different people. They look like they've seen ghosts. I'll be honest with you. So the stress of that job definitely, and the pressure that comes with it is serious. And I think Amorim is starting to feel the pressure of the job. I think he also starting to feel that a lot of players are not necessarily down in tools, but I think they're letting him down. And I think sometimes the job can be too big for someone, and you can see that it is quite taking a toll for him. Again, he wasn't even trying to look when Bruno Fernandes was taking that penalty. And you can tell he had a big relief once Bruno scored that penalty. So honestly, what does this mean for Amorim? I do want to give him credit because I do think that performance was a really good performance. Scott Parker came out after the game and said that he felt that there's a bad narrative about Man United and he actually thinks they're a good team. And I don't think he's the first manager to say that this season. I don't doubt that we play good football. I do think there are times and phases where we play good football. But the problem isn't the football at times. It's the not being able to create clear-cut chances at times, and also not being clinical enough when we do create those chances. And that's kind of been the theme for Amorim for a while. Again, yes, it's nice to get our first win of the season, but I wouldn't get carried away just yet. It's important to see what this does for our season moving forward. Because obviously we know our next game is against City away, and that's going to be a big one. So yeah, so it'd be interesting to see if Amorim can steady the team emotionally and also tactically before that derby, because I think it's an important game going into that one. I think it's a game that, again, of course, it's Man City, it's a derby. We can lose the game. It's a game that definitely we can lose, but we also can win. I think City right now are quite vulnerable. They've just lost back-to-back games. Of course, they're going to want to respond. It's going to be a derby. But I always say losing a football match isn't the worst thing. It's about how you lose the game. So if it's a tight game and we end up losing the game and we put in a good performance, I'll be okay with that. You can't win every single game, and we are a team that's in transition. So, losing a game, it ain't going to be the end of the world, but it's about the manner. We need to put in a respectable performance. Okay, and I think that's what all Manchester United fans are asking for, is that we put in a respectable performance, with respectable results. Because, of course, everyone has their concerns about the system or whether this is the right fit for the team. But again, it does come down to performance. If the performance needs to be respectable. Amorim said something interesting in the build-up to the game. He said that when he was asked about whether or not he should be changing or making any tweaks to his system, his response was that, how could I change my system when we haven't even perfected it yet? Which, to be fair, that is a valid point. It's like, why would you make change to a system that the players haven't managed to perfect yet? It is a valid point, but does he have the right players to do that? And that's the big question, because I think that if he doesn't get a goalkeeper, which is quite crucial, given the performances of Onana and Amorim recently, if he doesn't get a goalkeeper, he's in big trouble. If he doesn't get a midfielder, he's in big trouble. His season does rely heavily on what he can do from now until the end of this window, because I do think that those are two positions that do need to be addressed. And if they're not addressed, I do see us struggling this season. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very hard to see us not have shaky performances and shaky results week in, week out. If we're struggling like that against Burnley, even though we did get the 3 points, if we're struggling to secure those 3 points, and a lot of it is down to individual errors, then it's going to continue if it's not addressed in the market. So I'm hoping that I speak to you guys next, that by the time I record the next video, we do have a goalkeeper, hopefully. We do have a midfielder, and things do start to improve. Again, I'm not Amorim out yet. Like I said in the last video, I'm not Amorim out yet, but I am really, really looking at him hard. I am really looking at him hard over these coming weeks. So hopefully the performances become respectable, and, we can at least try to make something of the season. I think that's what all Manchester United fans want right now, is that we can make something of this season. We don't want it to be another season where we're sitting in 14th, 15th, It needs to be a season where, we're in a respectable position. We can see clear improvements. And and we have something to kind of look forward to, So I know it can't be done in one window and one season, but that's what we're all aiming for, just to see some sort of improvement. But yeah, we live to see another week. Amorim lives to see another week. Obviously, there's an international break. Obviously, the derby, the big derby coming next against Manchester City. I will hopefully maybe do a watch along for that one, and maybe have a special guest for that watch along. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And I will be doing some more videos in the upcoming weeks as well. So do stay posted. I will be trying to upload regularly and consistently, and coming up with some other video ideas as well for you. So to that, until next time, peace.